Welcome back to Brandon Sports, everybody. Hope you have an amazing day. Here to go over my SmackDown review for January 2nd, 2025. Before we get into the review, please hit the like button, subscribe button to the channel for more great content coming up. This is the first 3-hour SmackDown of the year. Hopefully, all up until June like they did last year. Hopefully, it won't be 3 hours for long. I thought the show was an okay show. Before we get to the review, I thought it was an okay show. It wasn't as bad as the last couple of weeks, but I still think that if this show was 2 hours, it would have been much better based on what happened throughout this entire night. But we're going to get to it. But I just overall thoughts were it still needs to be 2 hours unless they continuously start writing good storylines and start booking the show very well. I'm not going to go in too much like I've done the past couple of weeks because I thought it was an okay show. The 3-hour format to me is just still not working. It's a longer show. It did go by a little bit smoothly. It wasn't like felt like it was just taking forever to end. It still went by smoothly. It's just a lot of the things that were on this show you could basically nitpick, but overall it was okay. It wasn't great, it wasn't horrible, but it was just decent. So first we saw off the show with Michael Cole walking us to the venue. We had a wide shot of the actual arena, and I've been telling you guys for weeks on this channel that I kind of miss the pyro. For some reason, I don't know if it's TKO reserving their money, but where's the pyro? Where's the opening of the show? Where's the pyro? I've been saying this for weeks on my SmackDown review and on my Raw review. If you're going to have a brand split, both shows should look different. Do you guys remember in 2016 when the company brought back the brand split and Raw looked different, SmackDown looked different? The way that they were moving the used the camera, moving it back and forth next to the ring. Like now it's just bland. And I've been saying this for weeks, so it's just I wish they would do more pyro. I get they're trying to save money, but even when we'll get to Carmelo Hayes being US champion. But even at the beginning when he comes out and it's just he's just standing there. He puts his arms out and does his pose, and then he lifts up the title and there's nothing. I'm like, man, I'm expecting a little bit of pyro. Where's the pyro for these shows? It's just so not right when a company is being cheap on production, even though WWE has some of the best production ever in the history. It's like movie production, but basically I'm saying the look of the actual wrestling and everything else looks good, but the look of the presentation of the show. Give us intro to the show. Give us what they used to do back in the day with Raw and SmackDown and everything else. So for me, it's just the look of the show needs to be better. I wish they would go back. I don't know if you guys remember that SmackDown set that they had in 2020. October of, I think it was 2019 when Brock Lesnar beat Kofi Kingston. And they had that new SmackDown set design that they used. And they stopped using it because obviously the pandemic happened. But if you go back and look at that SmackDown set, that was one of the best SmackDown sets that they ever used. Besides the Fist and the old SmackDown set that they had back in 1999. Those are my two favorites. But the SmackDown set that they used, they barely used it because of the shutdown and everything that was happening at the time in the world. So it's just, I wish the production would be just a little bit better for the company. More pyro, more superstars need pyro. There's bigger superstars like Cody Rhodes gets pyro, Roman Reigns gets promo. But, even when Seth Rollins comes out, give him some some pyro. Give these guys pyro, man. It's just make the show look a bit better. That's all. We get a video package. As soon as we enter the show, we get a video package of the Cody Rhodes and the Drew McIntyre feud, which they're basically going to recap this every single week, which it's basically standard to go back to something that's so the biggest storyline on the show. We see Cody Rhodes, Charlotte Flair, Bliss, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Nia Jax, Last Legend, the Kabuki Warriors, Damian Priest, Aleister Black, and Zelina Vega entering the arena. We then head inside the arena with Michael Cole and Corey Graves welcome everyone to the show, but we hear The Miz. The Miz is at ringside and he says they are not moving on to 2026, that he is sick of hearing Happy New Year. Miz then gets in the ring and he says they are not moving on until he airs his problems from last year. Miz then says he asked for one match in John Cena's retirement tour. He then goes on to say he should have been the one to tap out John Cena. Instead, Cena is smiling and riding off into the sunset, and he is stuck in Buffalo. Boo. They kept picking at Buffalo all night. If you did not watch the show, they've been picking at Buffalo all night. Miz then says the second thing is he did something rare in this business, and that he offered his guidance to all the young and up-and-coming superstars, but they are ungrateful and entitled. Miz then says, respect is not requested, it is expected, and not just from the rookies, but from everybody. Miz then says he was passed over on a movie, and the fourth thing is, not only did he who shall not be named and his good time buddies ruin his SmackDown, he brought back a nickname, a very untrue nickname. The fans start to chant Tiny Balls, which I don't really care about that. Miz then says, this will not become a thing again, and there is a silver lining. Miz then says we are in 2026 and John Cena is gone. Miz then says there is a new face of WWE, and unlike the city, he actually wins championships again, picking at Buffalo, which is basically a cheap way to get heat in this kind of era, but it's still a good way, but it's like a cheap way to get it. But Miz then says he is the most decorated WWE superstar, and that means he is the face of WWE. Miz then says he is the gateway for the company, and he is the locker room leader. Miz then says he is the adult in the room filled with spoiled little brats. Randy Orton's music then hits. He makes his way down to the ring as the Miz is smiling, basically looking at him. The fans chant, Randy, they're chanting his name. And Miz tells the fans that Orton is back and to let him hear it. The fans then chant RKO, and Miz says not him. Miz then tells Orton that it's good to have him back, and they fist bump. Miz then says he was saying they are the adults in the room, they're the locker room leaders, that they are the gateways to the company, and they could be Miz KO. Orton then hits Miz with an RKO, and he points his finger. Orton then gets Miz up, tells him Happy New Year to his face, and hits him with another RKO. Orton then climbs on the top rope, and his music hits. Now, my first overall thoughts was, why don't we start the show out with The Miz? Listen, I respect The Miz. I told you guys, point blank period. I respect The Miz and his accomplishments. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer in this company. To me, he's exceeded his expectations from what people thought about him. So I always give The Miz respect, but right now, it's just not the time to be opening up the first SmackDown of the new year or a 3-hour show with The Miz. I get it. He's great on the microphone and whatever he does, but for me, I just don't think that was wise. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not something that we should do. If you're gonna open the show, Randy Orton comes out right away. Boom, music hits. Randy Orton is back. He gets the pop of the night, and we don't have to go through all that stuff about The Miz. Listen, it was a good promo about The Miz, but it's the same typical stuff that he's been doing for the past couple years, just complaining. Now, my problem is you're wasting Randy Orton in a segment for over 20 minutes. The Miz is out there ranting. To me, this is just filibuster, filling up TV time that you guys don't have nothing to produce. You had nothing there. This is clearly a lack of, we have nothing. We're going to send The Miz out there. We're going to send Randy Orton out there. The last time we seen Randy Orton, I think, was in SummerSlam, was it? And for me, The Miz just being, Randy Orton being gone for all this time just goes to show his importance, I guess. They need to continuously get him rolling. But for me, I just thought that this was a waste of time in the first over 20 minutes of the show. They should have just let Randy Orton just come out and talk about his goals for the new year and stuff like that, and then go in the back, which we'll get to that, and his discussion with Cody Rhodes. We then see Asuka and Kairi Sane in the back, and Nia Jax and Lash Legend show up. Nia says even though they beat them, teaming up is a little difficult. Lash then says that will be worth it when they help them win tonight. Nia then says they owe them a shot at the tag titles. Asuka then laughs and screams. She then says she will be happy to owe them big. Asuka then says they will keep the titles on Monday, and they will face them anytime they would like. Kairi Sane then tells them they need to be ready for the Kabuki Warriors. Then Asuka yells, Kairi! That she always been doing. Again, it's getting played out now. Before, she would stay behind with Asuka, and when she would stay behind with Asuka, she would stay behind with Io Sky. She would stay behind with Io Sky, and then she would do a little, puppy look on her face, and then she would yell Kairi. That was the funny part about it. Now it's just, they're overdoing it because people laughed about it. Now they're starting to laugh more in the crowd, but it's being overdone too much. Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and Bliss make their way down to the ring for the next match of the night. Lash Legend, Nia Jax, and Kabuki Warriors follow. We then see Randy Orton in the back, and Cody Rhodes welcomes him back. Randy then tells Cody out of respect, once you beat Drew next week, he is coming after the title. Nick Aldis then tells Cody that Drew will be here for the stipulations for next week's match. He then tells Cody to not let Drew get under his skin. He then reminds Cody of what happens if he touches Drew. Cody then tells Nick it won't happen. Okay, let's just pause for this moment. Randy Orton telling Cody Rhodes, I'm coming for that championship. This is the feud that we've been waiting for since Cody Rhodes' first championship reign. You guys have to go back. Put your thinking caps on for a moment and go back. When Cody Rhodes became champion, and everybody's congratulating him at WrestleMania and all these different things like that, he had some good feuds leading up. People thought it was lackluster. I thought you just had to wait a minute and let it cook. But after that, the entire time, if you guys remember at Backlash when he went out to go save Cody Rhodes against Solo Sikoa and the MFTs, what happened? Cody Rhodes was already champion, and Randy Orton was out there staring at the title. He's looking at the title. He says, listen, I'm coming for your championship. He said this a year ago. We all know Randy Orton wants a shot at the WWE Championship. Now, hopefully they cash in on this, because a report from Andrew Bagdala, who has sources and stuff like that, he says, allegedly, that Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes at the Royal Rumble is going to do big business. Fine, I have no problem with that, but let's just get to that feud. It's already January. The Royal Rumble is at the end of the month. Let's get to the feud where we continuously just let these guys go at it, build something, build off their history, and let them fight at the Royal Rumble. If they have to have another match in Elimination Chamber, I would truly like that for the both of them. I think this feud would really propel Cody Rhodes' title reign going into WrestleMania even more. I think he's had a great run since SummerSlam going up against John Cena. Again, Cody Rhodes should not lose the championship next week to Drew McIntyre at all. I don't care. Well, he should lose it at the Royal Rumble, win it back. No. He should not be losing his championship to Drew McIntyre at all. It should be, again, if what Andrew Bidella is reporting is correct, it should be Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship at the Royal Rumble, and let that be the big business, and let their story continuously play out, and you could take it to Elimination Chamber and let that play out in Chicago. But you have Randy Orton keep the champion. You have Cody Rhodes, keep the championship no matter what. If you have Cody Rhodes keep the championship, again, CM Punk needs to lose on Monday, January 5th on that Raw. He needs to lose, and after he loses, he needs to go to Royal Rumble, not win that, be close, but don't win that. Then he needs to go to Elimination Chamber in Chicago, and he needs to be the favorite, and he needs to win that. Then you can set up the long-awaited feud that we've been waiting for, of CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes night 2 at WrestleMania. And if Seth Rollins is not back yet, you would have Braun Breaker win the World Championship, have him go to WrestleMania as the World Champion, and have Roman Reigns come back and face Braun Breaker. But if Seth Rollins is going to be ready in time for the Royal Rumble, you have Seth Rollins win the Rumble, or you have Roman Reigns win the Royal Rumble. You have Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker Elimination Chamber. Seth Rollins gets the title back, and then you do Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns for the World Heavyweight title night 1 of WrestleMania. Listen, I get it. Braun Breaker's the future. But we don't know how long we're going to have Roman Reigns for. Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns is a bigger marquee match than Roman Reigns versus Braun Breaker. And if anybody tell you different, they're lying to you. We have to be unbiased. Listen, do I want to see Braun Breaker carry the world title for a long time and be the future of the company? Yes, but we have the next couple years for that. We can wait for him to have his really shining moment at that time. Not to put him down or anything like that, but we just don't know how long we're going to get the Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins story. If Seth Rollins, again, could come back from the injury, do it now. You got to pull the trigger. Even if Braun Breaker carries his title through the Royal Rumble, he defends it. All the way up to Elimination Chamber, you get Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker, have Seth Rollins win the title back, have Roman Reigns comes back, and do it like that. Then you could have Braun Breaker do something else for the meantime, have the Vision continuously dominate all the way up to WrestleMania. Then by SummerSlam, he could basically beat Roman Reigns for the title. And after that, then it's the new era of Braun Breaker and all that other stuff like that. But we need CM Punk to lose, Braun Breaker to win the title, and then go from there. This all depends on Seth Rollins. But as far as Cody Rhodes goes with Randy Orton, keep the championship on Cody Rhodes. So we get to the 8-woman tag team match. We have Bliss, Charlotte Flair, Io Sky, and Rhea Ripley versus the Kabuki Warriors and Nia Jax and the Bougie Bully Lash Legend. We get to the end of the match. Bliss hits a Sister Abigail. Lash then hits a punch. Rhea then hits a kick on Lash Legend. Rhea then catches Zayn off the turnbuckles and follow up with the headbutt. Then she hits a Riptide. Io then tags in and hits the moonsault for the win. The winners of the match is Bliss, Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, and Io Sky. My problem, this was a good match by all these women. My problem with this entire thing was you had Io Sky pin. Kairi Sane continuously gets pinned all the time. It's kind of nauseating. It's like, who's going to take the pin? I know she's going to take the pin, but have somebody else take the pin. She always takes the pin. But anyway, my problem was you're beating the champions now, so that means on Monday they're going to retain. Because what's the point of beating them twice if they're going to retain? Have them beat this team. Have them pin Alexa Bliss. She could take the pin. Have them beat that team and Charlotte Flair. But, again, Kairi Sane continues taking the pin. She's a common one out. I get it. But it just doesn't sit well with me that they continuously keep having her, especially if she's supposed to be a tag team champion. She's supposed to be important enough that you don't continuously keep pinning her, your actual champion. I never get when you pin the champion in tag team matches, especially when you have Nia Jax there. She ain't doing nothing. Pin Nia Jax. No disrespect. I know she's a irresistible force or anything like that, but pin her. Last Legend is too new. You don't have to pin her, but pin Nia Jax. Why you got to pin the actual champion of Kairi Sane? But anyway, again, I think Kairi Sane and Asuka need to retain on Monday's show on Raw, January 5th show. I think they need to retain the championship. I do not think that they need Rhea Ripley and Io Sky to be tag team champions unless they want to do the Royal Rumble of Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus Bliss and Charlotte Flair. I don't really care to see it. Again, some of these women are neglecting the women's world title scene. We head to the back where Nick Aldis says he has big plans for SmackDown in 2026. He wants Jordan Grace to be a part of it. This is what I've been waiting for, Jordan Grace to be on the SmackDown, not on Raw. She needs to be on SmackDown. Chelsea Green then shows up and says she cannot go out there because it is too cold. Nick then introduces Green to Grace, and Green tells her that they have something to talk about. Green then says she cannot go out there because of the ending of Stranger Things, which, this collaboration between WWE and Netflix and Stranger Things and WWE is just, it's nauseating. Green then says she cannot go out there because of the Stranger Things ending. She then says she will be the greatest first and final U.S. champion. Nick then suggests she will be a fighting champion. Chelsea then says she is fighting online. Nick then suggests impeaching her and stripping her of the championship. Then she storms out. So, again, I'm glad to see Jordan Grace on SmackDown. My thoughts is, before what happens later in the night, I thought that Jordan Grace should dethrone Chelsea Green for Women's United States Championship, make it important, then obviously put it down, vacate it, and go after Jade Cargill. But I'm glad they didn't do that. I would have Jordan Grace go up against Jade Cargill. I always want to see that match for some reason. Just those two women in the ring, their muscular structure, the way that they look. I want to see Jordan Grace and Jade Cargill fight for the Women's World Title at WrestleMania. Even though Jordan Grace has lost a lot of muscle mass, which is fine. She still is in great shape. But I still just want to see that match for the look of it, the aesthetic of it. I still want to see them fight. So I'm glad that she's basically going to be on SmackDown. Hopefully be on SmackDown. Now, something happens during this show. A phone started ringing. And I'm like, whose phone is this? I looked down to see if it's my phone. It wasn't my phone. I'm like, that's not even my ringtone. So the phone starts ringing. And it's Kit Wilson making his way down to the ring. And I said, you have got to be kidding me. Who does this? He says that he's fighting male masculinity. Kit then says this is the home of the most toxic sports fan. Kit then mentions the Buffalo Bills fan, which is again another shot at Buffalo. So then we don't know who his opponent is. So all we did here is woo woo woo, you know it, and then they change it up. And WWE on their Twitter put they put Zack Ryder so last year it's Matt Cardona. So I guess Matt Cardona got his wish. So now he's Matt Cardona instead of Zack Ryder. He's basically now on the SmackDown roster. Matt Cardona hits a Rough Rider for the win, which it should be called the Rough Cardona, if they want to change it, because he don't want to be Zack Ryder anymore. They need to change the finishing name of the match. This match, again, was nothing of importance. Again, this is a match to get Matt Cardona's name on TV and to get people used to saying Matt Cardona instead of Zack Ryder. Again, it was an okay match. I didn't really care about it at all. Good to see Matt Cardona back. Again, he signed to the roster, but I don't know what they're going to do with him. They'll probably have him win United States Championship later in the year at some point. But other than that, to me, it just really doesn't matter. The days of me caring about it is over because, listen, Zack Ryder was a great thing. Matt Cardona, what he did on Independence was actually a really good thing. I'm not taking anything away from him, but are they really going to give him a push in the company now? Because when you have younger guys who they're trying to make stars, is he going to get a push or is he there to put other guys over, which I think he's probably going to be that. He'll probably get another United States Championship run, which will be fine. But again, I don't think he's going to get the push that people are looking for him to get. No disrespect to him. He's a great wrestler, a great personality, but in the business, he's great for the business. I'm not disrespecting him at all. But again, are they going to give him the push that he probably wants? Or maybe his fans want him to get that he might not get due to the fact that they want to push younger stars. We don't know, but we'll see. We then head to the back where Kathy Kelly is with Damian Priest. She asks about 2025 his rivalry with Aleister Black. She also asks, what will it take to close his rivalry? Priest says it has been 6 months and that he has been going to war with him. Priest then says enough is enough and it ends tonight. Priest then says for half a year Black tried to change him. He tried to break him. Priest then says Black is not his creator. Priest then says Black doesn't tell him what to do. Priest then says Black has woken something inside that he cannot understand. Priest then says he will whoop Black's ass all over the arena and put him in an ambulance. Priest then says Black will fade to black. I thought this was a good promo by Damian Priest again. This feud, I told you guys, this feud has been going on since June. He said 6 months. It's been going on since June of 2025. And the reason why this is taking so long, which I don't know why it is because, again, they didn't know what they were doing in this feud. The people in the back were booking this feud. This was not a 6 month worthy feud. If you want to say a 6 month worthy feud, it's Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. But because we're in WrestleMania season, we're not going to get that, which is okay, fine. But this ain't 6 month worthy of a feud. I told you guys, nobody cared about this. Again, let me just bring you back a little bit. This feud is because of the whole thing with R-Truth, who was supposed to be Ron Killings when he cut his hair, and the whole John Cena thing. This came up from Aleister Black and R-Truth. This happened because they were going back and forth. Damian Priest got involved, and after that, Aleister Black kicked Damian Priest in the face and turned heel. That's how it started. This feud has no substance of anything besides R-Truth. It just makes no sense. I'm glad the feud's most likely going to be over later in the night. We then head to a Y6 and a Bo Dallas cuts a promo. Bo asks, "What is the meaning of family, Solo?" Bo then says that is an answer you have been searching for since you were exiled from your true bloodline. Bo then says you claim that you are not family, that they are not family. Bo then says you haven't taken the time to comprehend the force you're up against. Bo then says you mock what you do not understand. Bo then says our family is not made up of just them. Bo then says our family is filled with millions of fireflies around the world. Bo then says, always remember. Bo then tells Solo it is time to chop down your family tree at the root. Bo then says, when the dust settles, we will be the ones. Basically kind of copying the we the ones from the Usos. I kind of got that from that. The reason why my face is like this and I'm looking depressed is because who cares? Like, I'm going to be honest with you. I tell you guys all the time. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. People could be mad at it all they want to. This makes no sense. Why? I'm going to spoil it. Next week we get in a match between these guys in Berlin. Who cares? I don't care about this match. Who cares about any of this? Again, this is not to come off as disrespectful, and if anybody takes it as disrespect, it's not meant to be disrespect. I know he's paying tribute, but dog, Bo Dallas, you even trying to look like Bray Wyatt now. It's not working, bro. It's not working. And it's no disrespect. I get it. That's your brother. He passed on. God rest his soul. I'm not saying anything disrespectful. Just be Bo Dallas, man. Even the look of it, I'm looking at it right now. There's a picture right here. Please just be different. The rocking chair, I understand. That part I understand. You're paying homage to your brother, Bray Wyatt. I get it. There's nothing wrong with that. But trying to cut a promo like him when you can't do it. I mean, it's eerily similar, but it's just not Bray Wyatt. And it's no disrespect. Again, I'm not trying anything disrespectful. I don't disrespect me personally. It's wrestling. It's storyline. You're supposed to have fun in wrestling. You're supposed to enjoy it, just like any other show that you're watching. So when I'm criticizing this, is not to, again, be personal. It's to say, this is what I dislike about this certain segment. And him doing this is just not a good look for him. He needs to do something that's a little bit different for himself. Be different than what Bray Wyatt was, because you can't copy what he did. You're trying to copy the promo style. I get it. I see it. Again, you're paying homage and you're paying tribute. But I want to see what Bo Dallas is, not Bo Dallas / Bray Wyatt in one. No, Bray Wyatt was his own thing. You have to be your own thing. I get it. You're paying homage and tribute. It's no disrespect. Again, I'm not being disrespectful. I know you're paying homage, but this ain't it. And this feud with the MFTs ain't it. And no disrespect to the Y6. They need to take these titles off of this group and give it to somebody else. Hopefully the Lucha Brothers, or give it to somebody that's important. This team is not important anymore because they got hurt and it ruined their momentum on the roster. They came, they won, and then they left, and they were gone for months, and then they came back. This makes no sense. It's no disrespect to the Y6. I get what they're doing. But again, nobody cares anymore, especially because you've been beefing with the MFTs for the last almost 6 months. Enough is enough. So we hear Sami Zayn's music, and this is where I kind of like roll my eyes a little bit, because when I start to talk about this, you're going to understand why I roll my eyes in a second. So when Sami Zayn makes his way down to the ring, Zayn then starts off by saying he hasn't been around the last couple of weeks. The last time he was around was the Thanksgiving holiday when they had that stupid match. It was Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, Rey Fenix for some reason, and the Motor City Machine Guns versus the MFTs. That was the last time he's been around. And the last time you've seen him on TV was against the MFTs, but the last time you've seen him on TV was in a non-wrestling role, was at John Cena's retirement match. So I don't have a problem with that point. So he says he hasn't been around in the past couple weeks. It feels good to be back. Zayn then says he's got to do something recently that was profound. He got to sit and enjoy the show like everyone, which was a good thing to say. Zayn then says he got to sit in the front row and watch John Cena's last match with his son. Zayn then says it hit him in a way that he didn't expect. And he starts getting a little bit emotional. And this one, I'm start rolling my eyes. Actually, I'm not going to lie to you guys. As soon as I see the tears in his eyes a little bit, I muted the TV. I'm not going to lie. I muted the TV. There's no disrespect again. This is all about not a disrespect to Sami Zayn as the person. We don't disrespect anybody personally here. We're just talking about the character and the presentation and why I don't like it. Again, Sami Zayn heard he's a really great dude, nice person. I'm not disrespecting him as a person. The character is what we're criticizing here. Remember that. Always remember that. So, he starts to get a little emotional. Then I mute the TV for like a couple seconds. Zayn then says, they introduced Cena. The match starts, and his son turns to him and asks him why they call Cena the last Scene 17. Zayn then explains that it's because Cena won the championship 17 times. And his son asks how many times he won it. Basically, he's asking his father, how many times did you win the world title? Zayn then says he had to tell him 0, and his son asked him why not. Zayn then says he didn't really have an answer, and he understands why it would be confusing for his son. Zayn then says his son has watched him in the ring every week with Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, John Cena. Zayn then says they all have championships. Zayn then says he brought championships, but his son does not understand why the championship is missing. Zayn then says he is not here to talk about it, he is here to do it. Zayn then says 2026 is here, and he's coming for the WWE Championship. And now he's in the mic screaming about being champion, which, again, this is where I roll my eyes at the character of Sami Zayn. And let me tell you why. Because, who cares? You've been saying this for years. Listen, the problem I have with Sami Zayn's character is that even when he was a heel, he got everything he wanted. He got to be a part of the bloodline. That was fine. That was actually really, really good. That was a good job by the company, turning him into a heel, being a part of the bloodline, all of the stuff like that. That was great. I have no problem with that version of Sami Zayn. Even though I like Sami Zayn as a babyface better than I do as a heel, unless he's with the bloodline, I like him better as a babyface. Having said all that, I do not care about this because they had him go over Gunther, which I was mad about that. When he beat Gunther at WrestleMania 40, I was mad about that. Gunther should have never have lost the Intercontinental title to Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. It was a feel-good moment, but we already knew that Cody Rhodes' moment was coming. The fact that Gunther lost, he should never lost that. I remember seeing Sami Zayn's laying on the ground, he's smacking the ring, hitting the ring, and then he gets up, and then he hits the running kick, and he pins Gunther. I'm like, man, why would you guys do this? He's already been IC champion. He's been US champion. I mean, not at the time, but what else does he need? He needs to be world champion. They should have had him face against Cody Rhodes. Just give him something. Maybe Elimination Chamber if they don't continue the Randy Orton feud. Maybe they give Sami Zayn a match Elimination Chamber again. I mean, they gave him one against Roman Reigns, but is the company ever going to put the world title on Sami Zayn? I don't think so. And it's no disrespect to Sami Zayn, the person. Again, this is just about the character. Are they going to put the world title on Sami Zayn, the character? No. The person should have it? Obviously, yes. He's a great dude. Phenomenal person. But do you care about Sami Zayn being world champion in 2026? No, you don't. You care about Cody Rhodes, and then you want to see CM Punk get that Night 2 main event of WrestleMania in Vegas. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm going to be biased in this point. I want CM Punk to win the world title Night 2, and this will be CM Punk's last world title reign. That'll be fine. But going to Sami Zayn's route is just, people are going to want to see his fans, yes. I'm not taking anything away from him. But this same promo, I'm going to be world champion. You said the same thing to Seth Rollins last year when he lined with Paul Heyman at the WrestleMania. I'm going to be a world champion. I'm going to be a world champion. You just kept saying these things over and over again. It's like, man, come on, man. Like, we get it. You want to be world champion and you want to fight for something. But realistically, there's too many guys in Sami Zayn's way to be world champion. But anyway, again, that's why I muted the TV, because I'm like, I see this promo for what it is. Trick Williams then makes his way to the ring. I was happy. I'm not going to lie. When Trick Williams came down, I was happy. It was so glad to see Trick Williams on the show. Trick then makes his way down to the ring. I'm not going to lie. I miss hearing Booker T go, yeah. Whoop that. They chant, whoop that Trick. Yeah, Like Booker T feeds into the entrance. So I kind of miss that part about it. Especially being online. You see all the memes and stuff about Booker T. But they're lacking that element with Trick Williams already. But it's alright. So Trick Williams makes his way down to the ring. Trick then does the last alarm before speaking. Trick then says he has finally arrived. Trick then tells Sami Zayn they have not been formally introduced and that he runs through his nicknames. He runs through his nickname to Sami Zayn. Trick then says he is the most athletic, most entertaining, and most dangerous person. Trick then says he is here for a reason. Trick then says they always called him and told him they needed him on SmackDown to add what he can bring to the brand. Trick then tells Sami he isn't done when Sami interrupts him. Trick then says he can take off his coat and his shades and he is still 6'5", 250 pounds. Trick then says they need someone who can challenge for the title and looks like a champion. Trick then says he is here to be a champion. Trick then says they are not alike. Trick then says he won't take 20 years to get here, and he won't almost get the job done. Zayn then asks Trick if he's done. Zayn then says Trick is right. Zayn then says he has the tools. Zayn then says you have yet to be humbled. Zayn then says you are the first to look. You're not the first to look good and say that they're going to be cut their line to the top. Zayn then says you aren't the first to look down at him. I don't think he's looking down at him. I'm just saying he just thinks he's better than you. Well, I mean, you could say he's looking down on him, but I don't think anybody looks down at Sami Zayn's wrestling ability in that way. You could say presentation-wise maybe because he's shorter. He doesn't have the prototype build of a wrestler that the WWE kind of looks for. That Trick Williams, I think they look for that in him. So I guess you could say he's looking down on him, but I don't think it means that in that way. Just in a physical way, rather. Then Zayn says that he has no problem with teaching Trick a lesson or two to be humble, on how to be humble. Zayn then drops the microphone and leaves the ring. My overall opinions was that Trick should have got the last word, but I get why they gave Sami Zayn the last word. He's basically the OG, the veteran, fine. Give him the last word, but I thought Trick should have the last word on that promo. Now, we didn't look back and see Carmelo Hayes being Ilya Dragunov for the United States Championship, which I've been telling you for weeks that Carmelo Hayes needs to be the United States Champion, and that they need to take championship off of Ilya Dragunov. We didn't see Carmelo walking in the back, and Ilya Dragunov stops him, wishes him a Happy New Year. Dragunov then says he wanted to face the best version of the best last week. Ilya Dragunov then says you gave that to him. Ilya Dragunov then says while the outcome wasn't what he expected or wanted, there are worse things in life than losing to him. Dragunov then says it isn't the last time. And Dragunov then asks if he plans to continue the challenge. Hayes then says when he puts Johnny's jerseys in the rafters, he will continue. Hayes then stops to talk to The Miz. Before I get to the point where he talks to The Miz, my overall problem with this promo was Ilya Dragunov, people, if you watch this review, you may think I dislike Ilya Dragunov. I don't dislike him. The character has no character. That's why I don't like Ilya Dragunov. The character, not the person. Again, it ain't personal. But Ilya Dragunov being on TV, acting like he's some astute, gentle, and gentleman, and that everybody is beyond his approach, and the way that he talks, and the way he acts, it's like, dude, is that your character or not? Show us your character. Who is Ilya Dragunov? I always remember what Vince Russo used to say years ago. When Sasha Banks would say that she's the boss, he would say, what is she the boss of? Again, what is Ilya Dragunov? Listen, he's a great wrestler in the ring, but what is the character? I know what Carmelo Hayes is. He's him. Him? Arrogant, braggadocious. He knows how good he is. He's confident he can cut a promo. Ilya Dragunov is some guy who has his hair slicked back, thinking he is a great wrestler, who's a great wrestler, and that's it. What is Ilya Dragunov again? I keep asking these questions. But anyway, so then we have Carmelo Hayes. He sees The Miz, and he says, this couldn't be possible without him. So he thanks The Miz. Miz says, oh, man, you're thanking me. He starts to get all happy. Hayes then thanks The Miz for leaving him alone because he has been so much better without him. I laughed so loud at this. I started clapping, laughed my hand, because I was like, yo, that was great. That was a great line. He thanked him. The Miz started acting like, oh, you're thanking me. Good, man. Good. Blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as he thanked him, he's just like, hey, man. Hey, man, thank you for leaving me alone. That was great. Whoever wrote that in that promo, that was phenomenal. That was great. And again, we get Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae. I thought that was great. Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae make their way down to the ring for the next match. Now, it's being reported that Tommaso Ciampa is on his way out of the company, allegedly. I'm going to read this to you guys as in now. It says, according to Bodyslam.net, Ciampa is finishing up with his run with the WWE and is currently not expected to renew his contract. The report states that Ciampa is finishing up his time with the company without a renewal, though it remains unclear whether he plans to sign elsewhere or take a break from wrestling altogether. Credit to Ringside News for that article, but shout out to Bodyslam.net for the report. Now, if that's being said, Johnny Gargano, I don't know, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa have never ever got back what they did for the Black and Gold of NXT, which is great. Tommaso Ciampa, how much of a heel he was, they should have brought that to the main roster. They tried to have these guys be babyfaces. Nobody cares about this group, and it sucks to see because Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae, I know they're married, they're a great couple, okay, fine. But the problem with this group is that nobody cares about DIY. And if Tommaso Ciampa is really leaving the company, allegedly, then it's like, it is what it is at this point. Is he going to go to AEW? Because I'm not going to lie to you guys. Johnny Gargano not getting a reaction to the crowd, and he's been there for years, and they've been trying and trying. This is like, man, if he goes out there and gets no reaction, maybe Johnny Wrestling should be in AEW with him and his wife should be in AEW. Maybe that should be the move for Johnny Gargano, because he's just not getting the crowd ovation. He's not getting anything from the crowd. When he's with Ciampa, when they're baby faces, when they turn heel, when he's now by himself with his wife, they're not. I mean, it's bad. I don't know why the crowd don't like Johnny Gargano. Again, his character, you might say, where's the character, where's the presentation in this era? But man, he just gets no reaction. And he's a great wrestler. The same thing with Ian Dragunov. He gets a reaction, Ian Dragunov. But man, Johnny Gargano's been there for so long and he just gets no reaction. It's like, man, what does he have to do to get a reaction? But it is what it is. Again, I think it would be great for him just to be in AEW at this point, because it's like, I don't know if it's ever going to change for him, especially in this spot in the company. Maybe he'll be on the U.S. title scene continuously, but it's just boring watching Johnny Gargano. It's no disrespect to him as a person. Again, it's all about the character. Johnny Gargano is a great wrestler, but other than that, what happens? Nothing. We then see Nick Aldis in the back with Rey Fenix. Trick Williams interrupts and talks about being disrespected. Rey then says the new guy has a lot to learn about respect. Trick then yells at Rey. Nick then says Rey and Sammy are right. Nick then says next week you will make your debut against Rey Fenix. Trick then says that is what he wants. By the way, Nick Aldis saying that Sami Zayn and Rey Fenix are right, that he needs to be humbled, which is something very, very dumb. Because why would you say, this is where you pick the writing apart. Let me tell you something. Why would you say that Nick Aldis saying to Sami Zayn and Rey Fenix right, that he needs to be humbled? Isn't that what you brought him here for? To be the way that he is on the brand? To bring some flavor, pizzazzle to the brand like he said? Then you go inside with the babyfaces basically saying that he needs to be humble. Then why bring him on the show? He might as well just go to Raw. It makes no sense to agree with somebody when this is the reason why you wanted him on the show to begin with. Not to be humble, to be Trick Williams, and then you say, well, I agree with the people that saying that you need to be humbled. What's the point of bringing him on the show? Writing 101 should have said, you know what, you guys feel disrespected? You want a match against this guy? You should have put him in a match against Sami Zayn, because he's the one that really disrespected him. And this is the whole broader point issue that I have. What is Rey Fenix doing? He's barely been on TV. I know Andrade left. They were a tag team. Put him and his brother back together. If you feel like you can make a lot of money off of Penta and Rey Fenix separately, how much money do you think you can make with them together? It's not always about the money, but damn, what are y'all doing? Anyway, so next week we're going to get Trick Williams versus Rey Fenix, which I don't really care. I just want to see Trick Williams wrestle, but I don't care about all this. So now we get Johnny Gargano making his way down to the ring. Carmelo Hayes makes his way down to the ring again. Carmelo Hayes needs pyro with his entrance. Hayes then hits the first 48 and nothing but net for the win. This was a good match. Again, I keep trying to tell you guys, I don't care about Johnny Gargano. Again, the crowd, when he came out, guys, I'm trying to tell you something. He came out and they didn't care. They just did not care. I'm like, man, he just got to go AEW at this point, because, man, I just don't see it for him. But anyway, so Carmelo Hayes wins the match. We head to the back where we see Tama Tonga watching the monitor. He turns to see Shinsuke Nakamura. Nakamura speaks in Japanese. Tama responds. Solo Sikoa then shows up, and he wants to know if everything's okay. Tama says that was an old chapter. He then asks what is next for the Wyatts. Solo then says next week there will be a 4-on-4 match. Solo then says they are going to take back the tag title. Solo then says the men are outside, so let's get out of Buffalo. Again, another dig at Buffalo, which I actually liked it, because the way Solo Sikoa's face looked, I was like, okay, I see what he's doing. He's disgusted by being in Buffalo. Solo then walks away as Tama looks the other way back to basically see if Shinsuke Nakamura basically look back that way. Now, again, what are we doing with Shinsuke Nakamura and Tama Tonga? Are we giving Tama Tonga more of a spotlight? If we are, then I hope it becomes something. I don't know if they're going to split them up again. Him and Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa should be together to tag team, winning tag team gold. Solo Sikoa, again, should be back in the U.S. title picture. I want to see Solo Sikoa at WrestleMania have his own match this year. I need that. And we still have Jacob Fatu, so there's a lot of people that's going to come back. But we need... Solo Sikoa is very, very good. Great entrance music, great promo. That match with him and Gunther was so underrated. We need Solo Sikoa to have his own thing going on. I understand he's with the MFTs, but we need this because he's very, very good. And I don't want to see him being left in the shadows after all this is said and done. Give the MFTs back the tag titles and give Solo Sikoa back the United States Championship later down the line, or give them something. But the MFTs really need titles because the Y6 ain't working. MFTs really ain't working. But if you cut JC Mateo and Hikuleo out of it, because I'm not calling him Tongalao, whatever they want to call him, I'm not doing that. I'm calling him Hikuleo. You could take him out of it because, again, they can't do anything with him. He's just too big, too tall. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Again, the MFTs are good with just Solo, Tamatanga, and Tagaloa. And then maybe we'll get another feud with the Bloodline, the original Bloodline, down the line. But again, Solo Sikoa was too good to just be on the sidelines. They have a lot of talent. Let's use the talent that you have. And Solo Sikoa is a great talent in this company. Especially if you have him open up Netflix on January 5th or January 6th last year. You had to open that show with him and Roman Reigns, which is a great opening for that show. And he was very great. So just give Solo something. So we get a promo backstage with Aleister Black. He cuts a promo and says it doesn't matter what you say now. Blackton says this one is spiritual. Blackton says you can pin him as many times as you want or put him in an ambulance to be the victor. But nothing changes. Blackton says the only thing that has changed is you. Blackton says after tonight, you will never be the same. Zelina then says it is time they put the nail in the coffin of your delusions. Again, I can't wait for this feud to be over because my God, it has been stretched out and it is boring. We then see Kathy Kelly is backstage with Jade Cargill. She mentions an injury suffered by Michin in a match at a house show because they had a match at a house show. Tonight it was supposed to be Michin versus Jade Cargill, but the match didn't happen because during the house show she injured her shoulder, and Kathy Kelly asked Jade Cargill if it was intentional. Jade then says yes. Jade then says injuries happen with these pigeons when these pigeons don't know their place. Jordan Grace then shows up and says she is looking at her options, basically going SmackDown and Raw. Jade then tells her sign somewhere else because she is that bitch, which again, I actually like when she says that line because you guys know I like Jade Cargill a lot. Again, she needs a great dance partner, and I think that Jordan Grace would be a great dance partner for Jade Cargill if they're going to do that match. Again, the aesthetic of that match will look very good. Even though Jordan Grace is kind of short on the short end, it will still look phenomenal unless they have Bianca Belair come back whenever a Rumble and have her face Jade Cargill at WrestleMania. Then that's the only way we don't get Jordan Grace versus Jade Cargill, which I want to see Jordan Grace versus Jade Cargill. But if Bianca Belair does come back, no disrespect to Jordan Grace, but that's the bigger match. Even though I personally want to see Jade Cargill versus Jordan Grace. We then see Cody Rhodes walking in the back and he stops to talk to Sami Zayn. Cody then asks Sami if he's seen Drew. Cody then says he heard what Sami Zayn had to say out there, basically when he said he was coming for the WWE Championship. Sami then says he respects Cody and he's always liked him. He then asks, who was the first in the ring after WrestleMania when you won your championship? He then says you have to know where he is coming from. Nick then shows up. Again, why is Nick Aldis butting into this? This is the one segment where Nick Aldis was not needed at all. This was not needed at all. I do not understand why Nick Aldis had to pop his face up in this. For what? What was the reasoning? I mean, I get it when he says to him after, but it was still, they had this moment. Let them have their moment together. He wants the WWE Championship. Let him continue to talk. But again, Nick Aldis cuts him off. He shows up to welcome Sami Zayn back, which we didn't need that part. Cody then says, where is Drew? And Nick says he doesn't know. Cody then says he's going to handle this in the ring. We get another Oba Femi package, which is a really good package for Oba Femi. Again, Nick Aldis was not needing in that. It was between Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes' music hits. He makes his way down to Reed. Cody then grabs a mic and starts off by asking Buffalo, what do they want to talk about? I always like when he starts off like that because we all know we're going to get that. Cody then says, how does one attain the richest prize in pro wrestling? Cody then says he is not the biggest, strongest, or fastest. Cody then says he is also not the youngest. Which he kind of like, that was kind of like tongue-in-cheek, like he was kind of like the youngest when he first came, but I kind of get it. Cody then says, what separates him is simple. Cody then says, it's his mentality when dealing with anyone in a WWE ring. The fans then sing Cody Rhodes, Cody, like, you know, the whole European chanting for Cody Rhodes, which is a great chant. When they do it for Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, it sounds wonderful when the crowd does it. But they sing Cody Rhodes' name. Cody then raises the championship in the air and says, his mentality when approaching anyone is he gets there early. Cody then says he wants them to see him seeing them. Makes sense? Cody then says that is a secret when they see the championship, when they see him. Cody then says they think money, the fame, the suits, the jet, the bus, the fans, and then comes the envy, and Drew McIntyre reeks of envy. Cody then says he is grateful for it, and he is thankful for it. Cody then says he is glad that Drew became the mountain to climb, and he cannot wait for the fight. Cody then says In the spirit of an arena that is important for him and the fans that have rallied for him, he is going to say an even bigger secret. Cody then says, when he sits back in the back and smiles, he plays dumb. Cody then says, when the on real cameras think they are capturing something, they are playing checkers, and he is playing chess. Cody then says, no one asks him what he sees. Cody then says, when he sees Drew, he sees lunch. Cody then says, you can call yourself the final boss, the tribal chief, the game, the greatest of all time, but he is the one who calls himself the champion, and that does not change in Berlin. This was actually a great promo by Cody Rhodes. Now, I'm reading it. I can't, again, when you read a promo back, you can't read it the same way that somebody else feels. But again, this was a great promo by Cody Rhodes. We then see Drew McIntyre on the big screen standing outside. Drew then tells Cody he is predictable because he is old school. He is traditional. Drew then says a world full of shades of gray. Cody is vanilla as it gets. Drew then says he thought about the stipulations. Drew then says the first stage is a straight wrestling match, which I'm going to rip that apart when I get done reading this promo to y'all. I promise you I am. It's a straight up wrestling match, and he will prove to Cody that he is the better wrestler. Drew then says fall number 2 will be a Falls Count Anywhere match. Again, I'm going to rip this apart when I'm done. And if by some miracle it is 1-1, which, let me be a spoiler, this is going to be 1-1. We already see it's probably going to be a regular wrestling match, and they're going to let probably Cody get the first fall, or they're going to let Drew get the fall. Cody's going to be down. Oh, Cody Rhodes is going to rally back to get the win on Drew McIntyre. And then Drew McIntyre is going to lose the second fall. And it's going to be all comes down to this. And then the next fall that he says is going to be an old school steel cage, which means hopefully if it's an old school steel cage match, it better be the blue cage. Because I know they're probably doing this because they don't want to carry that big ass steel cage to Berlin. So they're probably going to bring the blue cage because it's not as big as the other one, which is just... I understand it too, so I'm not mad about that. I'm not mad about the steel cage match. Drew then says no outside interference, no BS. Two men enter, and one champion leaves. Drew then says he has broken Cody mentally, and next week he will break him physically. Drew then says that as if Cody is still champion because if Cody touches him, he is stripped of the title. Drew then says they will have a lesson in self-control. Drew then says he wanted to have the conversation on the Cody Express. Cody's home away from home, but Cody wasn't there. Drew then says he let himself in and he saw some gifts from his wife and kids. Drew then says there was one item that stood out to him. Drew then holds up a picture of Cody Rhodes and his father, Dusty Rhodes. And when I saw this, I was like, damn, Cody Rhodes is really letting this company pick at his father now. And this is just crazy because usually this was off limits for Cody Rhodes, which I get, it's healing over time. You could use it for material, I guess. But I told you guys last week, I was actually proud of Cody Rhodes because it's like, man, when you lose a loved one, and I know what that feels like, that close was a parent. Trust me, I do. That's a hard pill to swallow to say, okay, you can use this as a talking point in a promo to diss me. Because I don't know if I'll be able to do that. I would not be able to do that. Drew then says he wishes Dusty was still here today to see the man Cody is today. But he knows that Dusty is looking up, truly ashamed. And now when he says looking up, you guys know what that means. But usually people pass away, they say they're looking down on you. But in this instance, he said he's looking up, which is, I was like, man, Cody Rhodes, man, this is crazy. When he said he's looking up, I'm like, oh my goodness. And then he said he's looking up, truly ashamed, which is like, man, he's really poking at Cody Rhodes. Drew then says he knows a lot of people think it will be a cold day in hell before he is champion again. But he hopes Dusty has a coat because it's about to get very, very chilly. Man, he is just dissing his father. Listen, it's a great promo and a great going back and forth, but the whole bringing Dusty Rhodes into it, again, kudos to Cody Rhodes. Drew then throws the picture on the floor. It was in a frame, by the way. So he throws it on the ground, it breaks, and he stomps on it. Cody Rhodes then runs. I know he's running. He starts running. He can't really run too fast because of the shoes that he has on. WWE officials then stop Cody and tell him that he is not there. He's not there. He's not there. Basically, Drew McIntyre's not there where he's running to. We then see Drew in the ring with the garbage can. Cody then runs towards the ring, but he is stopped by security and all this. They're basically holding him back so he can't get into the ring. Drew then holds up the picture of Cody and Dusty Rhodes and he tells him, Cody Rhodes, Happy New Year. Then Drew lights up the picture on fire with the lighter and throws it in the garbage can. Drew then gets in front of Cody Rhodes. He basically leans on a rope and gets close to him. And he basically tells Cody Rhodes to hit him. Security and all this stop Cody Rhodes. Now, before we get to the announcements of next week, I just want to tell you guys, because I told y'all guys I was going to rip the match types. Why would you pick a traditional one-on-one match? Then a false count anywhere match is a predictable match. Come on. Like, what are we doing? Who told Drew McIntyre this is a good idea? Why would you want 3 stages of hell, then to pick a regular match, then you wanted a false count anywhere, then you wanted a steel cage match? You might as well have just brought the Hell in a Cell. I mean, I know there's pay-per-view and bad blood and all stuff like that, but man, what are we doing? Why are we having 3 stages of hell with a false count anywhere match that they do damn near once a month or twice or 5 times a year in the company? Why? That's just so basic. You know what? I kind of realized that this company is so cheap now and that they want to make as much money because they want to pay off that TKO debt. Don't let this fool y'all. TKO is in a lot of debt, and they're using WWE to pay off their debt. And eventually, I think what Jonathan Coachman was saying, that they're going to probably sell the company to Saudi Arabia, I think that's true. This is just ridiculous. They should have a street fight in Berlin. Go outside, tape the fight if you have to. If this show is going to be live in Berlin or it's going to be on tape delay. Because if it is, you could tape this match. Make it cinematic. Do something different. I don't understand why we're having a straight up regular wrestling match. Then it falls count anywhere match. By the way, SmackDown's 3 hours now. I guarantee you that this match probably gonna go an hour because they don't have anything to book. So it's gonna go. This show is gonna go. I'm telling you, this match is gonna go an hour. At least 30 minutes to 45 minutes, up to an hour plus commercials. I'm telling you, especially if it's live. If it's on commercial, then you know it's gonna go for an hour. But they're gonna use this match because they don't know how to book 3-hour shows. Again, the same way Vince McMahon didn't know how to book a 3-hour show on Mondays, and they're gonna make this match an hour. Now, again, a regular standard match. We already seen you guys in a regular standard match, and Cody Rhodes beat you twice. Now you're going to beat him, so you're going to get your win back on a standard match, and then you guys are going to do false count anywhere, and then Cody Rhodes is going to win, and then after that, it's going to be 1-1, and then after that, Cody Rhodes is going to beat you, because again, if what Andrew Bydala reported is true, allegedly, that it's going to be Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes, which is a great big business match that they can do, then what is the point of all of this? I mean, again, there's a feud. We take it for what it is. But again, this feud is going to be over by next week. And after this, I don't know what Drew McIntyre is going to do. But all in all, again, why just a traditional wrestling match? We've seen it again. A false count anywhere match. Go outside. Do you guys remember when Goldust was at I think it was WrestleMania? And I forgot who he was facing. But they were driving everywhere, they were fighting everywhere, they were using the car. Do you guys remember when Dean Ambrose versus Luke Harper, and they both jumped in the car and was fighting, and then the show continued, and then they came back and they finished their match, and they were fighting the whole entire show, basically, until the match was over? Can we please bring something? Where's the creative juices? Where's the storyline? Where's the pizzazz? Where's the, we want to see different things, and this company is so lazy. And this laziness stems from when Vince was there. The company was lazy when Vince McMahon, for the past 13 years when Raw was 3 hours, and all they did was focus everything in the ring, and when they did backstage segments, they didn't really do anything. And you know what my true problem with all of this is that Triple H was there back then when they were doing all this stuff with Stone Cold, The Rock, The Undertaker. I mean, Undertaker put Stephanie McMahon on a cross. What are we talking about? Where is the creative juices in this company? If you don't want to spend the money because you don't have the money, or you're bragging about all this money that you're making, Mark Shapiro, who I do not like. I try not to make anything personal on this channel, but the one person who you guys will come to know that I don't like is Mark Shapiro. And there's reasons for that. And one day I'm going to break it down. I'm going to do a separate video about TKO and why I don't like TKO owning WWE. But as far as this match, there's just no magic, no nothing. 3 stages of hell, and by the way, this is 3 stages of nothing. This is nothing. A steel cage match, okay, fine, but a false count anywhere in a regular match? What are we doing? Where's the creative juices that's supposed to be in this company? And we're not getting it, and that's the problem when it comes to creative booking. And I try to give Triple H a lot of leeway because I don't know who's in his ear. I blame Nick Khan and everybody, but Nick Khan said that it's really Triple H booking it, and we don't really step in. So if that's true, Triple H, you got to be more creative, man, because this year has not been a good year for you. To me, this has been a money-getting year for the WWE. And I don't want Triple H to leave because I do not want Brian Gewirtz and The Rock taking over creative in the company. Triple H has got to get better because these 3 stages of hell makes absolutely no sense. I ran it long enough on this, but this makes no sense at all. If you're going to do it, you should have just said, hey, we're going to do a steel cage match to end the show next week in the 3rd hour. It's going to be for an entire hour. If you're Cody Rhodes, bring a steel chair in the ring beforehand. I don't know. I get why they're doing it again to fill up on the 3rd hour, maybe the 2nd hour. I don't know when the match is going to be, but man, come on, man. I ran it long enough. Again, WWE needs to be more creative when it comes to this. It is then announced next week that we will have an 8-man tag team match with the Wyatts facing the MFT and Trick Williams taking on Rey Fenix. Chelsea Green and Alba Fyre make their way down to the ring for the next match, and Giulia and Kiana James follow. We get to the end of the match. Giulia then climbs the top rope and hits a double underhook suplex. Giulia then hits a Northern Lights for the bomb for the win. Again, this was a decent match. Giulia is now Women's United States Champion, which is a good thing. I like Giulia or Julia, whichever one you want to call her. I'm pronouncing it wrong or right, I don't know. The reason the problem that I have with this, the overall reason is, okay, you give her the championship again. She's a 2-time United States champion. Her and Chelsea Green are the only ones that had the title twice. Okay, fine. Do something. Now do something. And for the love of me, I don't know what you want to put this on. Please remove Kiana James. She brings nothing. And this ain't personal, it's business. She brings absolutely nothing to this duo. Nothing. Again, if you want Giulia to cut a promo, then let her do it on her own and put the words on the screen if we don't understand her and the language that she speaks. The same thing we do with Asuka, the same thing we do with Kairi Sane, the same thing we do with Io Sky, the same thing we do with Shinsuke Nakamura. Even if there's a language barrier, you can still put the promo on the screen. Kiana James is not needed. And I'm getting aggravated, so let me calm down for a little bit. She is not needed here. What is Kiana James' purpose? To carry around an empty purse? Because ain't nothing in that purse. It used to be, I think it was was it a paper that she used to write on? Like, I don't even know what was in the bag, but there's nothing in her pocketbook or her purse. There's nothing there with this woman. Who is she and what is her character? I keep asking you guys, what is Ian Dragunov's character? What is Johnny Gargano's character? What is Kiana James? Her character is to what? Say, who? This is my client? How? Who told you were good enough? This ain't personal. Again, this is the character. Who told you that you can represent people when you're supposed to be a wrestler? You're not Jimmy Hart. You're not Paul Bearer. You're not a manager. You are a wrestler pretending to be a quote-unquote, I guess, a lawyer? What are we doing? Who is she to be at this position with Giulia? To me, this is basically a leech because she ain't got nothing going on. So we have her here leeching off of Kiana James. Remove Kiana James and Giulia and have Giulia be on her own, or Julia or Giulia, whatever you want to call her. No disrespect, by the way. I'm just saying it. But remove Kiana James, let her do something. If not, then put her back in NXT and let it be that. She can be great in NXT, but this pairing of them together is an absolute no-no. It's been a no-no, and it should have never happened in the first place. Again, let Julia or Giulia cut her own promos and let her get used to being in the microphone by herself. Other than that, Kiana James not needed. I spent way too much time talking about this. She should not be together. Again, congratulations for Julia for winning Women's United States Championship. It's in different hands. I got tired of the Chelsea Green and the Harvest thing. I like Chelsea Green's character, but the Secret Harvest has run its course for me. But other than that, I don't care about Kiana James and Julia. I don't care about that. Separate them. Enough is enough. It's too much. Enough. We then head to the back where Captain Kelly's with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. And she mentions tonight's match. And Monday, Rhea says that they have been waiting to get their hands on the Kabuki Warriors, but you just got your hands on them, so that made no sense. I guess alone. Rhea then says the titles are coming back to them. Io then says they will finally become champions. Charlotte and Bliss then show up, and Flair says that it was fun teaming up. Rhea then asks if they're coming next for the titles. Bliss then says they are here to wish Rhea and Io good luck. Rhea then asks if they are serious. Flair then says they are next. Rhea then says if they want seconds, it will be their play and their pain. This is a decent backstage promo again. Didn't really matter much to me because, again, I hope the Kabuki Warriors win next week. We didn't see Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae in the back. And Nathan Frazier and Axiom show up, which I did not care about this one bit. Frazier says that wasn't a great performance to Johnny Gargano. Axiom then says it is time for Johnny to grow up and he asks for his mask back. Johnny then says it is a gift from his wife and he offers it. Axiom then says he is going to ask for a match against Johnny and he will beat him and take his mask back. We get Aleister Black and Zelina make their way to the ring, and we have Damian Priest makes his way down to the ring, and we have Damian Priest and Aleister Black starts to fight. As soon as Damian Priest goes to top ropes, Aleister Black hits him from behind. We basically skip forward to the end of the match because, again, I did not care about this one bit. I'm glad Damian Priest and Aleister Black can conclude this match. their feud rather. We get to the end of the match. Priest then sets up the South to Heaven, but Black hits a back elbow. Priest then falls onto the case, but Priest stops Black, and Priest sets up for a Razor's Edge. Priest kicks the case away. Priest then hits Black with a Razor's Edge. Priest then puts Black on top of the ambulance. The straps then come down, and Priest sets up for the South of Heaven off the ambulance through the table. Priest then opens up the ambulance door, and he drags Black over. Priest then sends Black into the ambulance, and he closes the doors for the win. I just want to say one part I did miss was that when she opened the door, when Zelina Vega opened the door, Rhea Ripley was in there. She jumps out, she chases Zelina Vega down to the ring, she hits the Riptide, and after that, they finish their match, in which I just basically jumped towards the end because, again, I did not care about this one bit. Damian Priest wins, and now it's time for him to move on. And now it's time for Aleister Black to move on. Again, I keep trying to tell you guys, Aleister Black will be perfect against in the United States Championship scene against Carmelo Hayes. Now, whether if he wins or not, that's to be determined. But if you really want to do something with Aleister Black, after Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes are done, maybe before WrestleMania, you could have Aleister Black versus Cody Rhodes, reignite that feud from AEW that they had. But other than that, give Cody Rhodes something to do before he gets in the match with CM Punk, hopefully. You can do, if you do Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes one time at the Royal Rumble, or you carry it through Elimination Chamber or whatever it is, you could do Aleister Black versus Cody Rhodes at the Elimination Chamber for the championship and have them start a story from there, or just do something. But this needed to end. After the match, we see highlights from the ambulance match, and we see Priest. We see the ambulance driving away as the show comes to a close. Again, this show was not that bad at all. My overall thoughts, again, it wasn't a great show. Again, this could have been 2 hours. Some of the stuff could have been cut, but I get why it's 3 hours now. For me, again, I keep trying to tell you guys that it's about money, and I get why it's about money, because the company wants to make so much money, because again, TKO is in debt, which I will do a video about TKO one day and why they shouldn't own this company. But overall, the show was okay. It was a decent show. It wasn't bad and horrible like it was the past couple weeks, so I'm gonna give them a break there, but it just needs to be better with creative and storylines now that they're headed down towards the Royal Rumble. I'm glad this Damian Priest and Aleister Black feud is over with, because it shouldn't have been beginning to start with. It should never even happen to start with. I mean, I get it, two guys from basically the dark side, but other than that, again, I didn't really care about it too much. I like Damian Priest, I like Aleister Black, but them two together just didn't make sense at all, especially for 6 months. Can you believe it was 6 months since they've done this? This is just amazingly bad. But anyway, the show was decent. Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre was the best part of the show, for me, in my opinion. The second part was, for me, when the Carmelo Hayes walked up to The Miz. But again, this was a decent show. It was decently paced. It didn't take too long to get through. But again, and Trick Williams being there, by the way, was good as well. Let me know in the comment section down below how you guys felt about SmackDown in the review. How you guys felt about my opinions in this review. How you guys felt about the show overall. Let me know in the comment section down below. Please hit the like button and subscribe button to the YouTube channel for more great content that's coming up. Until next time, guys. See you real soon.